Hey gang, just wanted to stop by here on a beautiful Friday. We're finally above 35 degrees for one time in a month, so you can go out and and wear t-shirts in the street and howl at the moon. But before we get into what I really wanted to talk about today, I wanted to congratulate our pitching coach from last year, Les Lancaster. Les, as of last week, has accepted the managerial job with Southern Division opponent, the Rocky Mountain Vibes. So it's always a dream of any coach, no matter what coach he is, eventually you become a manager, or in baseball referred to as the skipper. So we're really happy for Les. He's always going to be part of our family. He's loved by us all, and when they come to town to play us, we're going to openly hug him, and then we're going to heckle him too. So the Rocky Mountain Vibes. They're going to be ready for bear if I know how Les will manage. So we're going to have to strap it on and do our best. But that's one of the reasons why our league is set up the way it is. So we're not just competitors, that we're also brothers in arms, and we're partners, and we love Les and we wish them the best of luck. But what we're really here to do today is introduce our new pitching coach for the 2023 season. And I'm proud to introduce and welcome back Mr. Evan Parker.
Bags, thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
Now pitching for the Ogden Raptors, number 34, Ogden's very own, Evan Parker.
Wow, what a moment. Anyway, Ev, again, this is going to be our third year as this Major League Partner League.
Yep.
You started out as just kind of somebody who was helping out, and last year you were a player coach. Now you're advancing into the full-time pitching coach. How does that make you feel?
Dude, it feels amazing. Obviously, as you know, I'm loyal to the ground that we walk on as the Raptors. Could not be more grateful to you, grateful to the Raptors family who's here in studio with us. Just very proud. I'm going to do my best, and I'm going to bring it every day, and our guys are going to be prepared to compete.
Okay. So let's see if Evan can take Kevin's cue that he gave us earlier. He's going to look right into that camera and tell the viewers at home what can they expect with Evan Parker as the pitching coach.
First and foremost, my biggest thing is that my guys are going to be competitors. I don't care what stuff looks like. Guys are going to come in, throw a bunch of strikes. We're going to challenge guys early in counts. Our starters are going to be conditioned to go deep into games. We want to outduel every single guy on the other side of the field, being the other pitcher. So my thing is competition. Competitors are number one on my list. If you're not a competitor, you're probably not going to pitch for me.
It's funny, and I know you're really a guy that pays attention to detail. Mm-hmm. I know practice means a lot to you.
Yep.
And I know that analytics is part of your life too.
Yep.
I'm not a huge fan of analytics.
Yep.
But I know there's a place for it.
Yep.
But it's funny, as we all know, Deion Sanders is huge on social media right now as the new head football coach at University of Colorado. But one thing I was really impressed with is that he said the best performance he ever gave was one that was never seen, and that was in practice. He played the practice, he practiced to play.
Yep.
And when he played, he was doing nothing more than practice.
Exactly.
And I know you're cut from that mold.
Yeah, I mean, it's about repetitions, and it's about the work, behind the scenes. Truly it is. I mean, the preparation is everything. I think that what we do on the field day in and day out, I know for a fact that what you do on the field day in and day out is what the result is on the field. And very, very excited. I've already got my if you've seen Waterboy, where who is it, Henry Winkler, he's the coach with the book in it.
Uh-huh.
I've already started making my book, so I'm gonna have all.
Can we get you the bucket hat that he wore too?
Yes, please.
The other thing I was going to mention is we've noticed the last 2 years playing in our partner league status is it doesn't really matter what team it is. all the pitching staffers look similar.
Yep.
Everybody throws 95. And sooner or later, every hitter will turn around 95.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is what frustrates me about pitching, because I'm not a pitcher, so I don't know enough about it to be judgmental enough. But all I do know from the last 2 years sitting up in the press box is I'm concerned less about 95 and more about 83. So if you could explain to the viewers what kind of pitches are in that miles per hour range.
I mean, so I agree with you in some sense of the word. If a guy has, 95 is ultimately, I think, what I know that's what Major League Baseball is looking for.
Absolutely.
So, if we get a guy like that in our door, it's about teaching a guy. If that guy has that stuff and he's in our situation, he needs to add something to his game. He needs to learn how to compete. And what you find in those guys that throw 83 or whatever is that they would have never made it out of anywhere unless they truly learned how to compete with the stuff that they have. So they throw a lot of refined strikes. They, pitch on the edges. They probably throw 2 pitches or 3 pitches for strikes, and they control their secondary stuff. My thing is to get every guy, like I said, doesn't matter who it is. I'm not a huge guy into turnover. You give me a group of guys, I want to teach them how to compete, I want to teach them how to pitch, and I want to teach them how to attack.
Well, the turnover part is the most important part of what you just said, because there's nothing worse than a pitcher fearing for his job every time he goes out and takes them out.
Yeah.
And what he's talking about with turnover is if a pitcher goes out there and he doesn't do a good job, he's afraid he's going to get released or something. Well, we don't want that. We want players to feel confident. Yeah, you're going to have a bad outing. You're not going to be lights out every game, but we want you to know that you're confident and that this is where you're going to stay.
Right. And Cash and I are big into, the feel of the clubhouse.
Yeah,
I mean the camaraderie between players, and you have your clubhouse leaders and you have guys that kind of, assume roles, and it's important to keep that intact because you can roll with that. When you get down into these, I'm expecting to be in the playoffs. I'm expecting to be in that championship. I want to win that championship.
And if Trevor's seen me and Richard and Jacob, they've seen me in the press box and know that I want to be in the championship.
Right. So I want to be competing for a championship, and when you get there, everyone's good. Yeah. This level and beyond.
Well, yeah, I hope the fans realize at home, our league is much different than the Pioneer League of old, when we were affiliated. It's probably on average 6 to 8 years older than the old Pioneer League used to be. So these guys can play.
Yep.
I would say offensively, the league is a good A-ball league, high A even maybe.
For sure.
Defensively, same thing. Pitching, not so much. Mm-hmm. Pitching, but pitching across the board nationwide in every league, including Major League Baseball, is down. So we're always looking for that diamond in the rough, but it's one thing to find a diamond in the rough. Pitching coaches, and I believe you're one of those, can make a diamond.
Absolutely.
Out of coal.
I want to create an identity of what our pitching staff in Ogden looks like. I want people to know when they come here, it's like, man, these guys are hard-nosed. They do not give free passes. We do things the right way. We're not giving free stuff away. And you can create that identity, what I mean? I look at some pitching coaches and I look at offensive and defensive coordinators. They create, some of these guys create a hard-nosed mentality. That's what I'm looking to do. Because when we do that, I'm not going to say it doesn't matter who's in our door, but our guys are ready to go all the way down the line.
You want a room full of Bulldogs.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Also, are you determining that a pitcher can throw, in other words, we're talking about versatility. This guy may be a starter, this might be a middle reliever, or this guy may be a closer. Are you looking for that, or are you just going to say, if you can pitch, we're going to put you anywhere you might be needed in that game?
I think the best coaches that I've had are guys that find the roles. They put you in roles to succeed, and I can genuinely say, I've had coaches before who maybe put me in a role, who saw something that I didn't, and then it ended up being, that's why they were the coach. They put me in that position. So I think that determining guys' roles is important. I think that guys need to feel comfortable knowing what they're doing, whether they're a starter, reliever, closer, late inning reliever, so on and so forth.
What about conditioning? What do you feel about
that? We're gonna be conditioned. Yeah. We'll be conditioned.
Yeah. You like to run poles?
I actually center conditioning toward what the guy does. So obviously you look at starters needing more endurance. You need relievers being, quick twitch, but they need to be able to bounce back day to day to day.
I ask you that because I know you're in tune with it. And again, I'm not an athletic trainer or any of those things, but it's something about when, especially if a starting pitcher throws 100 plus pitches, he's got to run immediately to break down all the lactic acid and all that. I mean, and you're big on that, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, my biggest things, especially just talking with kids who know who don't know fundamentals and guys who have been in the game for years. Running, icing, mobility, and whether some guys don't like to ice, some guys don't like to run, but you've got to figure out, you've got to get a sweat, you've got to, and running is really kind of it's not even a question with me. You have to. Yeah. You have to. I mean, guys have been doing it for how many decades, centuries, it works.
I mean, and again, I guess I never thought I'd call myself old school, but I am. But I'll talk to anybody my age or 55 and older.
Right.
And they'll all tell you, if you don't run, you can't play.
Yeah. I mean, it's really a matter of flushing the body, conditioning the body. There's no replacement for running. I'm sorry. Like, no invention, exercise ever will replace a human body running.
One final thing, and then we'll wrap up shortly, but if you could look in the camera and tell, sometimes people ask me, what does it mean to pitch backwards? Can you explain that?
Yes, pitching backwards. So, starting the at bat off with an off-speed pitch. It's, typically a slider or a curveball is good there. You can go another way, and, if you're trying to back a guy, if you're trying to really mess with the guy and throw a changeup first pitch,
I never understood that. If you throw a changeup first pitch, what are you changing up from? It's just a slow fastball.
The only way I ever see any applicable time to do that is if a guy is dead red swinging on the first pitch. Dead red swinging. So with that guy, you can say, well, there's probably a lot of things you can do. Make it look like a strike for, half of the distance and then drop something off the table. That would be probably the only time. I'm big on guys throwing, front hip sliders or, if it's a lefty, whatever. So
that front door curveball to a left-handed pitch or a batter is nasty.
Yeah. Yep. So pitching backwards, essentially, you start the at bat off with some off speed and then finish them up with some gas.
With a high heater, baby.
Yep.
Okay. Briefly, could you share? Maybe it's too soon, but can you share with the viewers? Some of our pitchers from last year that are scheduled to come back? Yeah,
so I've, in fact, Trevor just sent me the list. I've been going down the list. We got Chris Day coming back, Chase Stratton, Brandon McCabe, Pablo Arevalo, Damian Henderson, who was with us for a bit. I'm going to have that guy.
He works at the Lululemon store down in Farmington
He does.
Station,
He
right?
does.
Damian, I went to that store 2 weeks ago and you weren't there, you lazy bum.
Damian's coming back.
Jack.
Oh, yeah. Cunningham's coming back. I'm blanking on my list.
Well, I mean, you just named enough of them already.
Right.
I mean, we've got a great roster coming back, and Cash and Evan and the gang, they've loaded up the roster pretty good. We're still going to have multiple players, even unsigned players, during our mini camp before the start of the season, which kicks off May 23rd. We're also going to have, we're going to bring back the Fan Fest this year, right, Trevor? When are we doing that?
May 19th.
May 19th, we're going to have the Fan Fest. It's going to be open to the public. We're going to bring back the open home run derby to anybody that can come out. I think, what do they pay, $10, $20?
$20.
And they get how many swings?
10.
They get 10 swings for $20, and that's just to cover insurance and all. If you hit it out, we give you 2 season tickets for the entire year. So
Sweet.
Maybe we can get some of the pitchers up there to throw to guarantee that they don't hit it out. What do you think?
Yeah, we can do that.
Anyway, we're excited, Evan. I can't be more proud. I've known you since birth, basically.
Yeah.
Your parents, Bill and Heidi, are just remarkable human beings, and your wife, Ashlyn, and your baby girl, Lennon. How old is she now?
She is a little over 20 months. She'll be 2 in May.
Okay, one final question. I don't know if I've had you in studio before, but I always ask the first timers, and I'm putting you on the spot here. Is this the dinner question? Yeah.
You in the old studio you asked me, but we can do it again.
Okay, I'll ask you again, and you can't use the same answer.
Oh, dang. Okay, all right.
If you were to have lunch or dinner with anybody throughout, history,
Yeah.
who would you want that to be?
The last person that I said was Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So that's, that's some pretty elite company there.
I said that too.
Right. Honestly, I would probably say Bob Gibson. I would just like to sit down, and I've watched film of his 1968 season before, and it's the most remarkable thing I've ever seen in my life. I would just want to talk to him.
Did you see the stats on him the other day? Somebody sent me stats on Bob Gibson.
Of the innings
There was
pitched.
he threw 382 innings.
Yeah.
He also struck out 400.
Right.
It's just mind-boggling.
I sent Cash the innings totals of his starts from
Oh,
19
Cash sent it to me.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just remarkable,
Yeah.
and I think that breed of player pitcher is, that's like my spirit animal, for lack of a better
Well,
term.
he was him and Drysdale.
Yeah.
I mean, I faced Roger Clemens in college. The tough. I mean, Randy Johnson when he pitched at SC.
Yeah.
He'd strike out 14, he'd walk 15,
Yeah.
and he'd hit 6. So he had no idea where it was going.
Yeah.
So you just literally are scared out of your mind. You
Yeah.
just push button and get the heck out of there.
Yeah.
But if some of those guys, if you looked at them in the eyes, they would drill you.
Right.
And those days are long gone.
I mean, there's stuff that Tim McCarver said, who was his catcher, that he would straight tell him off, So, yeah, what a beast.
Well, folks, as you could tell, we could sit here and talk baseball all day, but you got lives and you got to get back to doing what you're doing. Evan,
Love you, brother.
I love you, man. It's going to be another great year. We're going to be doing a lot of fun things. One more staff addition to talk about before we hang it up. Our former trainer, Jessica Felicities Henry, is coming back. So she's going to come back, and she's going to leave again somewhere around late August to go back to University of Wisconsin for her grad program. Or no, she's working on her PhD, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, she's coming back, so we just can't wait to have her. And it's great to have. And the best thing about you being in the pitching coach now full time is the success of any business is if you're able to promote from within.
Yeah.
That's always the best thing to do. So the fact that we promoted from in was not only one reason. The real reason is because you deserve it.
Thank you.
We wouldn't do it unless you were deserving of it and unless
you.
Cash
Yeah.
believed in you.
For sure.
But anytime you can promote within the family, that's always the best way to go. And so we're proud to have you. It's going to be a great season. Stay tuned for more information. And so until I hear from you again, ciao, baby.